My question for you gentlemen, and I'd like each of the three of you to answer, is you've spoken, you're talking a tough game, blasting the state for its impasse over the budget, and I don't know of anybody who would disagree with that. My question to you gentlemen is, what will you do about state legislators who are acting very much like the state legislators acted a few years ago when they gave themselves pay raises in the middle of the night and thumbed their noses at the taxpayers? Now they're thumbing their noses at the taxpayers, playing political games with a budget. Would you be willing, as leaders of this community, to seek the ouster of state legislators who are not passing a budget, regardless of their political affiliation?
Absolutely. They all should be accountable. A part of their job is passing a budget on time. Anyone that is affecting thousands of people's lives in our county, the quality of life. Every one of them is accountable, Democrat or Republican, no matter who it is. And I have friends that are Republicans that are in the state legislature. They need to go out, and we need new people in who will do their job and do it on time and do it right for the people. Everyone should be accountable.
Would you say that's now, or are you willing to give them a little bit more time?
Well, we're running out of time in the school district and the county. I don't know how much more time they need.
All right.
But before the election would show me something. If they wait till after the election, every one of them should be voted out, because then they just played politics.
Okay.
Bernie, I think that a lot of the process is going on right now. I've never seen so many citizens engaged in the political process as we're viewing on a daily basis now. I think that with respect to not supporting the re-election of a Republican or Democratic candidate is actually occurring even as we speak for myself and for many other citizens. We're basing that determination of their re-election based upon their commitment to passing this budget. And there are a number of state legislators who are actively involved in the process. We're seeing them in the paper on a regular basis, and they're to be admired for their commitment to try to bring this to a resolution.
My question, though, is, are you willing to seek the ouster of all state legislators who are involved in this gridlock?
Yes, if they're not putting in the appropriate commitment to seeing it pass.
So the legislators that are putting in the appropriate commitment, you will vote to retain?
That's correct.
Okay, so
I'm judging them right now.
How about
judging them on their performance?
How about the Republican
legislators? Because the governor also plays a role in this.
How about the Republican Lehigh Valley legislators? Would you vote against Brown, Reichle, or Beyer, or Harhart?
Absolutely.
You would.
You know, in terms of specifics, I'm going through that process right now of determining who is a player and who is not, who is engaged. You know, who is doing the job, just like you and I would do with our own private employers. If you are not performing, if you are not trying to get this budget passed, then you don't deserve to be reelected.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to be a little bit easier on this and maybe take the less popular stance, but much of what's going on now is not the local legislators' fault. It is the caucuses in Harrisburg, the Republican and Democratic caucuses in both houses. They are the ones to blame. So anyone who is involved in the caucus, I think we have to put more pressure on. Last week at the statewide County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania meeting, it was brought up that if we don't have a budget by the middle of October, then county commissioners should step forward and run against the legislators. And this was brought up as a formal motion at the meeting. And it was defeated because some of the people simply stated that it's the fault of the caucus. And I believe that. But I do believe that local legislators have to put the influence, the bite on the caucuses to get something done.
Well, aren't all the Democrats in the Democratic caucus, and aren't all the Republicans in the Republican caucus?
No, you have the leaders of the caucus who are running everything.
Isn't Jen Mann and Bob Freeman, aren't they both leaders of the Democratic caucus?
They are leaders, but I don't know how much they are in the decision-making aspect behind the closed doors. So in the past, 4 years ago, we had a sweep out there because Chip Wright-Bill and some of the other people were doing everything behind closed doors and not letting the other legislators know what was going on. The same thing is going on right now. So those who are at the top, who are making the backroom decisions, are the ones who are holding us hostage right now. They are the ones who are to blame for this budget impasse.
So Chairman Dougherty, are you saying basically that the situation has not changed in Harrisburg, that the same situation that existed a few years ago still exists today with the leadership making all the decisions and the rank and file being left in the dark?
I think it's worse.
Okay.
Because back in the old days, we had the bums in there who could get things moving. Now the bums don't know how to get the ship operating correctly, and they can't work with each other to work these things out. So I don't know if we are any better off today than we were before we had the sweep in that last big election.